I've been told to be cautious with what I say out my mouth. I've been told that what I say is incendiary, that what I say is heresy, that what I say is against the Bible, is against Christianity, that what I say is against all the major religions of the world, that what I say is against the very heart and soul of the people of the majority. But I don't represent the majority. I represent the minority. I represent those who have yet found the answers in the Bible. I represent those who are in the valley of the motherless and the fatherless. I represent those who struggle with every step they take through life. I represent a light that cannot be extinguished. It is a roaring fire that is deep within me. It is my soul. This is our last stand for the values that we must believe in for our children. This is the last stand for the values that we have to believe in for ourselves. We can no longer live in these conditions. We can no longer carry the burdens that we have. Our families are being torn apart because we are too busy trying to hold it together financially. We're too busy trying to hold it together after divorces, after the men have walked away from their children. We spend no time with our children. Not all mothers, not all fathers, but for the most part, in a single parent home, it is hard to raise children because you have so much duties that you must feel that it's hard for you to feel the duty that matters the most, being a mother. It is tragic the way we live our lives now, the way we depend on technology now, the way we depend on the TV to babysit our children when it's full of sex and violence. We allow them to buy music that does not soothe the soul but amp up the analogy of being a thug. Being hoes. It's not your fault. It's society's fault. From the 60s on to now, in the 60s you could even show skin on TV. And things began to progress where now there's half-naked ladies all over the TV. There's cursing all over the TV. The rap music tells you about selling drugs and being the best and baddest on the corner. That these fools, yes, I call them fools, these fools go out on the corner slinging dope, slinging marijuana. I grew up in the hood. Most of them ain't had a bath in a couple of days because they don't have nowhere to rest their head. Wearing the same dirty clothes over and over again. That's a lack of attention. That's a depraved heart that was created by society. This is our last stand. Begging society not to continue the direction that it's going, because the direction it's going is apocalyptic. We will come up the heads. And the one thing I know about my God is that God says I don't need a million to conquer anything. All I need is one. All I need is one to answer the call. He's not looking at the rich and the high society. He's talking about the one that's down in the dumps that was told that he will never be anything. He will grow up to be nothing. He will grow up pushing cans in a shopping cart. He will be homeless. He will lift him up on high and make him a king of men. He will be able to sit on the throne with God because he has overcome all the obstacles in his way. You don't believe in a third person that sits on the throne? Read the 7 letters to the 7 churches and get down to the end and the nitty gritty, and it tells you about that third person. Read chapter 12 of Revelations and it'll tell you about that third person. It's time for us to stand for what we believe in. Justice, love, empathy. We must stand for our ethics and our values, and we must pass them along to our children in this dangerous world that we don't know when we send them out to school, whether they'll be corrupted in school or violated by someone of their close family. I've heard the stories, more than my fill, and they hurt like shards of glass in my heart to know that these things have happened to such young people, that they have become a perpetuating circle of oppression. They begin to oppress themselves and refuse to break the cycle. They live a life of poverty instead of trying to climb out of it. They are fine with just having the little bit that they have because they're afraid of losing that by climbing up. They're afraid that the community will call them sellouts for climbing above and rising above where you came from. There's nothing wrong with remembering where you came from, but there's something wrong with you not wanting to go higher than where you came from. This is our last stand as the children of destiny. We have been fighting our whole lives to tell people the truth, to tell people the reality, to open minds and open souls and open hearts. But we can't preach the same thing forever. As much as we love to, we have to get ready. We have to put our armor on. And we have to defeat the enemy. Because the enemy is starting to encroach on places he has no business being. Grown men lying in bed with young girls, molesting them, raping them. Grown men and women abusing their children like their dogs. Children going hungry. Children homeless. You say, what about the adults? I understand about the adults, But what hits me hard is the children. What the children are having to go through just this little bit in their lives where they're still young. And they tell me these stories because I'm a comforter. Because I stand in the garrison of God. Because I don't speak like any other Christian you know. I don't react like any other Christian you know. I don't pretend that I'm holier than thou. I only say that I stand on a holy ground because wherever my feet stand, that is where God is with me. He dwells with me. He has given me authority to be able to do the things that I want to do with my life. He's given me the authority to be able to speak the truth and fear no evil. For 2 Thessalonians says the power of the Antichrist is here before the Antichrist even arrives. What do you think this is? This movement, this darkness that's taking over every country, that's taking over the world, pushing them further back, causing riots. I'm living in the greatest country of the world, so it doesn't matter. It matters. It matters because we are facing some of the same things that civilizations older than us have fallen because of. We have famine in the United States. We have children going home hungry in the United States. We have children being raped in the United States and molested. And forget, we in position 93 of the lowest income bracket in the most industrialized world. We don't pay attention. Or we say that it can never be us. We don't listen to our children, so when they have something heavy on their hearts, they don't know who to go to because their parents don't listen. This is the last stand. This is where we begin to confront the enemy and we begin to drive the enemy back away from our families, away from our friends, away from our neighbors, away from the children, away from us. We're not just rebuking what the devil is doing to us. We're rebuking what he's doing to everyone else. The time has come for less words and more action. We've been mourning and mourning and mourning, and it's time for us to rise from the pits of the graves that have been dug and say, come alive. Let your spirit be with me, guide me. It's time for us to honor our words with deeds. It's time for us to take on more than what we can chew, because it is our destiny to multitask. It is our destiny to ensure that the little girl down the street gets something to eat, to ensure that she has on clean clothes, to ensure that she has someone to look up to, The time has come, the children of destiny. This is the last stand.